Good morning. So I'm stoked to discover that these RC boats can go in the ocean and ride waves. I was super reluctant to get one. I was worried it was going to end up being junk and just end up in the landfill or fill with water and be ruined in 2 or 3 sessions. Or I'd be that guy bringing some like noisy, irritating thing to the beach and get stink eye. And so I'm pleased to report that everyone that's seen it has been stoked. It's super fun. And they've held up great. I'm like 15, 20 sessions in, and so far so good. So I'm stoked. I love finding new ways to share stuff with my son. You know, my love of ocean and wave riding, be able to do both of those with him, even if we don't want to go surfing. And I'm super stoked to report that like 2-3 weeks after we got these, like he's like, "Hey Dad, bring my wetsuit, bring the surfboard, let's go surf Ocean Beach." And I take my 7-year-old out to Ocean Beach, and I'm just like, so I'm stoked beyond belief. And this is one hardy little goose. He's taken some beatings and just come up smiling, or at least the same way he looked when he went under. The RC surfer has been sold out for like months. I don't know how long, but curiosity got the better of me. And so I'm like, let's see what it's about. And then it was unavailable. And then it became kind of forbidden fruit. And my curiosity was piqued, and I'm like, let's check this out. And then I saw the RC boat video, and I was like, man, that looks cheap. I don't know. But eventually I couldn't let it go. I just had to check it out, just because I've had a lot of RC experience. And I figured if anybody can make it work or find out if it's junk or not, it's me. And I love the look of that RC surfer on the front. And so I'm like, what can I put on there that would be kind of funny and cute? And everyone who's seen it starts giggling just because you see this cute little goose duck, whatever this guy is. I'm pretty sure he's a goose on the front. And then he's like got his mouth open and he's looking up at the barrel and everything. And so it's been a fun little thing to mess around with. And every adult that I've shown it to has been surprised at how fast they are. They do, like, I tried a slower one, and the difference was night and day. Like, this one cooks, so it's fun, super fun. Even though I'd love to try the actual RC surfer, which is quite a bit bigger than this. I mean, they're unavailable, and so these are affordable. I could get one for me and my son, and we can do it together at the same time and just have a blast and rip around and so it's fun. It's turning people on to ocean and the waves and learning how to wave ride in a fun and safe way. Preventative steps are necessary to keep water out of the inner boat. It gets in through the servo rod and through the prop shaft. I read an old RC surfer manual, and they recommend greasing the shaft every, I think it said 10 uses. And I read in some RC boat forum after like 25 minutes. And here on this one boat, they put that plastic or nylon or rubber sleeve there to try to keep the water out. But either way, need to grease the shaft. And firstly, what I did to keep the water dripping in through that servo rod nipple is put some cotton tampons in there or cotton pads. And then when they get wet after each use, I just pull them out, let them dry, and then put them back in. The other way is to pack some grease into that nipple itself to try to create a water barrier. And I used a little mini grease plunger style gun to pack the grease in there. And so that is necessary. Water will leak in. The first boat I had, on the second use, water came in and ruined the electronics, and I had to send the boat back and get another one. Here is the prop shaft pulled, and you can see, it's rusting already. It's dry, and so I greased it, and I used this eco grease here. I think it's important to use a safe grease instead of spewing toxic grease into the ocean. And one of the problems I had is the set screws are so tiny, one stripped out, and so I replaced one by drilling out and tapping with a larger set screw. One replacement screw is a quick fix, and I had to trim a little piece of plastic there. I didn't really like having that screw that way. I was like, okay, I need to grease this shaft every handful of uses or 20 minutes or whatever it is. So I want to make it easy. And so I ended up drilling and tapping with the larger 4mm stainless set screw. So now it's easy to do the proper maintenance to keep the water out and make the boat last. So battery life is great. It's around, 20 minutes or so, or 15 to longer if you use lower throttle, but it's kind of tricky to get it in there, and the manual was kind of confusing. I couldn't figure it out. So after playing with it, this is the way to put it in, and it fits great. And then just, put on the hatch, a little arrow there tells how to go, and then, that keeps the water out. The other thing is on the second or so run, We had a boat-on-boat collision, and one of these little outer hatches broke off. So I was bummed, and it turns out a servo horn will fit on there with a little screw, and it's quick fix to prolong the life of the boat, not have it end up in landfill. One of my initial concerns was noise pollution. It was going to be super loud and be obnoxious, and I didn't want to be that guy ruining everyone's enjoyment of the sounds of nature. I love the sound of nature. And so up close, it seems loud, but then on a windy day or, anytime there's waves breaking, the roar of the surf is so loud that can't really hear it. So as soon as, like on this day, I couldn't hear it at all. Like, with the kids and the dogs and the waves crashing, like couldn't hear it at all. But as it gets closer, like super close up, you can hear it a tiny bit. And on a windy day right here, can't hear it either. My first attempt to put a camera on here, it worked as in, right weight and the boat could handle it and stuff. But it was an older camera with no slow-mo capabilities, and watching it in real time was nauseating and made me sick just watching it. It was just bouncing all over the place, going way too fast. And so with the slow motion, it's fun to watch. And I hadn't even considered this angle of it, but now that I have the camera on there, I'm like, I keep it in the van every time I go out, and I'm always looking for like, where's a little juicy shore break barrel I can try to tuck this guy into. And so it's like, it's just a fun way to like have more fun, even if I'm not surfing. I went out and I filmed a friend the other day, and I didn't even get wet, and I just played with the boat for a little bit. And it's like mind surfing at the next level for me. I can not only visualize what the wave is doing and think about surfing it, but now I can actually, take this little guy out, and it's fun. And after playing with this for several sessions and with the waterproofing and all that, and taking a look at the RC surfer, it seems like a lot of thought and iterations went into the waterproofing part, because they put the rudder in a separate compartment, and a different design that it doesn't have a nipple. It's got like a through kind of plug kind of deal, like the latches on this boat. And so I think that is solid as far as waterproofing. So they found one way to eliminate the waterproofing. So thanks for watching. I hope this was helpful. YouTube has a super thanks option, so that would be super helpful if you want to contribute that way, or you can come over to the website and donate that way. We also have memberships and a Learn to Foil course, so come on over, check that out, and thanks so much, and hope to see you out there.